following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Woman stalked by ex gets no help from the police. When Mary Fletcher showed the Sangre Grande police a picture of a cutlass a male relative sent her via WhatsApp along with a threatening voice note, she expected he would receive more than a warning. In the recording, he said anywhere I go, he promises that he will find me and erase me. He said, "You can't hide from me. I does be all over the place." However, she claimed all the officers did was contact him via cell phone and tell him to refrain from calling her. He didn't. He told me he going to give me some lets in my head and that a restraining order cannot save me. That is just a piece of paper. Fletcher spoke to Guardian Media at a discreet location about her experience in an abusive relationship, saying she was influenced to do so by the many cases which have been in the public domain recently. The 23-year-old, along with her 2 children, ages 2 and 3, fled their home to hide from the relative. He even threatened to burn down her home with the children in it. Mary Fletcher says she no longer takes threats lightly. "Look what happened to Omatie Ramdial-Deobarran. That could happen to me." Fletcher produced 2 citizen report receipts which show that she made a police report to the police on September 27, 2021 and another on October 26, 2021. "When I went the first time, I made sure I showed them the evidence, and the officer up to now did not look at my phone or listen to any of the voice notes. When I went in October, they said the only option I can give you is to take out a protection order, and it's still mouth-to-mouth threats." She bemoaned that there was no further assistance in applying for the protection order, and she needed to beg a friend to help her. But she said the biggest betrayal of the system was when she was promised that her information would be forwarded to the T&T Police Services Gender-Based Violence Unit, GBVU. "It's more than 3 months and nobody has contacted me up to now. I still waiting. He could erase me any minute." This is why Fletcher has turned to Facebook to share her story. It's shared thousands of times. Many Facebook users offered their sympathies, while some questioned if the young mother was putting her life in further danger. However, she said she needed to be heard. "Enough is enough. I have to come out and talk. If anything happens to me, he is fully responsible. They didn't even give me a paper to go and get a medical or anything like that when he choked me in September. They just gave me a receipt and that's it." Guardian Media reached out to GBVU and was told to send all questions through the Corporate Communications Division. In the meantime, Mary Fletcher's information was passed on to the unit and a promise was made that it would be dealt with. As Guardian Media returned Fletcher and her 2 children to the home they are hiding in, she expressed hope that this story would bring about some change. "I hiding like I erase somebody because you don't know when he will come or if he will find me. I just want to live my life like everybody else." Family, friends, and colleagues bid farewell to Omatie Ramdial-Deobarran. While Omatie Ramdial-Deobarran met a violent death at the hands of her husband, she was hailed as a superwoman and a fighter on Friday. Gathered at her childhood home at Mohes Road, Pinal, mourners bade their final farewell to Omatie Ramdial-Deobarran, 36, who was erased by her husband Amar Deobarran at her Barrackpore home last week Friday. Delivering the eulogy, her cousin Vani Takurdat said, "Oma was truly the definition of a strong and capable woman. To Diva and Satyam, her dad, brother, grandfather, relatives, and everyone who loved her, Remember her as the superwoman she was and the superwoman heaven received. She said her cousin lived an exceptional life, touched many hearts, and impacted many lives. We pray that your soul is at peace because you deserve it, and you will be forever remembered as a fighter, she added. Thakurdat noted that everything Ramdial-Deobarran did revolved around her children. She said her kids were very attached to her. Thakurdat said her cousin, an employee of Bankers Insurance Company Limited, was hard-working and was climbing the ladder of success. Ramdial-Deobarran, she added, would light up a room and nothing was too much for her to give. Thakurdat said her cousin had a natural beauty admired by many and was compared to Aishwarya Rai. In an audio recording, Ramdial-Deobarran's sister-in-law, Vindira Basdeo, who lives in Canada, also said her death had left her heartbroken. It is hard to say goodbye today. Oma, you were the sister I did not have. Throughout the years, I know you were so humble, so simple, a good cook, a dedicated mother, a brilliant and successful accountant and professional, Basdeo said. She also recalled that Ramdial-Deobarran had an inner and outer beauty that shone brightly. Bankers Insurance CEO Dennis Benisar said Ramdial-Deobarran had beautiful eyes and a smile that they all would miss. He said at these events, people often reflect on changes they have to make in their lives, but noted they never follow through on them. I always tell my colleagues having these ambitions and talking these things is great, but what really matters is taking action. If we need to say sorry to someone, apologize, be more humble, don't think about it. Just do it, he said. Officiating pundit Surendra Maharaj asked mourners to find it in their hearts to forgive Ramdial-Deobarran's husband. Amar Deobarran, a schoolteacher, died after he ingested a poisonous substance following his attack on his wife. His funeral was on Thursday. Omatie Ramdial-Deobarran's hearse was decorated with flowers, while a banner bearing photos of her was plastered across the music truck which led the procession from Mohes Road, Pinal, to the shore of peace for the cremation. NWRHA report on victim Catherine Akum Lum sent to CMO. Health Minister Terence Dale-Singh has said an investigation was done into the incident at the St. James Medical Complex where lye was used on hysterectomy patient Catherine Akum Lum instead of distilled water. He said the Northwest Regional Health Authority submitted a report to the Chief Medical Officer. The investigation was conducted in accordance with the reporting of adverse events as outlined by the Adverse Events Policy. Akum Lum was taken to the USA for treatment this year. Dale-Singh said this matter is before the High Court, and in view of the sub judice rule there, he couldn't comment further, including whether any disciplinary action was taken against anyone. As a single and independent mother, Catherine Akum Lum was living her best life. She loved her job as a building designer and project manager and was very successful. Akum Lum, at age 51, was providing a good and happy life for her son. She had also found love again after surviving domestic violence in her relationship. She was healthy and looking forward to a long and blissful life. But her world came crashing down on June 12, 2019, when she went to the St. James Medical Center for a hysterectomy. During the procedure, she said a doctor accidentally used lye to wash out inside her pelvic area instead of distilled water, causing extensive damage to her kidneys and abdominal wall. Lye, commonly used to clean drains and toilets, is a form of acid and is corrosive to the flesh.